This is B-Tech. And welcome to tonight's video, a video which I've been wanting to make for such the longest time in terms of anticipating on making this video, because tonight I will be finally discussing about Donda. In the case you don't know what Donda is, it is Kanye's latest album / experience, as some are calling it. It's been a long time coming, this album, a long time coming, a year to be precise, like a year and a month, or a year and 2 months, something like that, because this album was originally supposed to come out last year, in summer, in July, but it never came to be. Like, I remember he tweeted out Donda come this Friday, when it was like a Monday, and then it never happened, and I think he might have tweeted out some other stuff, but I don't know, I never really remember being too hyped about it back then, because it just didn't really feel like it was gonna come out. Because if you're a Kanye fan, you know what Kanye's like. You gotta always put stuff on the fence, you know, you gotta be wary about this sort of stuff. And so I think everyone was in the same boat where there was like this sort of anticipation, but this knowing that it wasn't going to drop because there wasn't too much being said or talked about, or too many leaks. I remember there was a leaked track list of all the songs, but apart from that, not much else. So I remember that time of year passing, and I kind of forgot about the album. I kind of forgot about it until I remember last year in winter I was thinking, wasn't Kanye supposed to drop? And we just heard nothing since then, until this summer, when the first listening party was announced in Atlanta, in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and that was a big deal, a very, very big deal. And if you're wondering how this video is going to be, I'm just going to be talking about like the lead up to the album, and I'm going to get into like my top 5 songs. This isn't really going to be like an album review. I was thinking of doing an album review, but the album is an hour and 48 minutes, and that's a lot to go through. So this isn't precisely a review, but more so a discussion. Basically, it's just an album discussion. So yeah, the first listening party rolled around, and if you're over here in Europe, the timing of the listening parties is not it. It is not good for us at all, because like I think they go live around like 4 at night. Apologies, loud car. They go live at 4 at night, and that is not ideal at all, because like Kanye is like always late. They could go on for some time, and if you've got work like me in the morning, you can't really stay up to listen to them. So listening party 1 was actually the only listening party which I was actually able to watch live, or watch at all actually. And I remember staying up with my mate on Xbox to listen to it, and I think we were both almost like falling asleep just because how long it was taking. And I remember listening to it, and he was listening to it, and we weren't really saying too much, because I don't know, I don't think we were both impressed by listening party 1. As a Kanye fan myself, I can say I was worried. I was basically worried for the album. I remember saying to Bella as well, I was like, I'm a bit worried about this release, Bella. I'm not feeling confident. So listening party 1, not a great start. Not the most confident start I would have liked, And I heard people saying, oh, he's mixing the album, he's getting it ready, he's going to release like soon. And it didn't. And then I don't know how long after, but listening party 2 was announced, and a which was cool, interesting, a bit weird. And they had like a countdown clock on top as well. You saw like all these celebrities coming in and out. You know, you had Mike Dean, Kanye, of course, himself, Lil Yachty, and all these other guys who were working on the album just in the room. You're doing all these random stuff like standing around a lot of the time as well. So I kept on checking in and out of that live stream just to see, you know, if anything interesting was going on. But yes, it's actually a tragic story. What happened to Listening Party 2? So I did intend to stay up for it and watch it. However, Kanye was quite late to getting out onto like the stage, and I think I fell asleep like an hour before he came out. I don't know. Well, the live stream went live. I was watching it all, and I just fell asleep. And so I missed Listening Party 2, and it looked like it was a great one. It looked like an absolute ball. Sorry about all the noise going about, actually, and I don't know why there's so much noise. It looked great. Like, everyone was saying how much better produced and mixed the songs were. There were some new songs as well. It just sounded apparently so much better than Listening Party 1. I was kind of annoyed. Like, I kept on like on YouTube trying to find like the live stream to see if I can like catch up on the songs, but I'm kind of glad I didn't, because after a while I realised maybe I don't want to listen to the the live parties, just in case I get too attached to a sound of a song and it doesn't, you know, quite be the same on the album. So that's the thing. I think that the danger of these listening parties help some people may become attached to a version of a song and then can be disappointed when they don't hear the same thing on the final product, which I think has happened to some people. But luckily for me, it only just got better, because of course I didn't like Listening Party 1, and I'll get into my final thoughts about the Donda album itself. And of course, Listening Party 3 came about in Chicago, in the Soldier Field Stadium, I think it's called something like that. And the set was like, it was insane, you know. Well, I say insane, it was like, you know, it was Donda's house, Kanye's childhood home, and they just rebuilt that basically, and they had like cars going around in circles. They had like all these different celebrities come out and just pop their heads. They had bloody Marilyn Manson on there, and I just love all like the jokes about him just there, just like being like, why am I here? Like Kanye just practically torturing him to like be on stage with him. Because yeah, Kanye wasn't technically performing, it was literally, the name suggests, a listening party. Everyone was just listening to the album, or versions of the album. And every live, you know, like listening party had its own sort of like variation and variant. Like some songs were on it, some others weren't, you know, some tweaks and whatnot. And the takeaway I got from Listening Party 3 was that it was not as strong as Listening Party 2. And I think the overall like thought is that Listening Party 2 was the better of all like the three listening parties. But as I said, only listen to Listening Party 1. So yeah. And you know, it's been a torturous like month and a half, or like a month, I don't know how long it's been, like in this year, since Kanye announced like Listening Party 1. But I was starting to not feel too confident after the first day after Listening Party 3, because I thought if it didn't release the day after, then it wasn't going to come out for a little bit. Then it came out like 3 or so days later, and it came out when I was at work. And this like past weekend, there's been a festival going on where I live, and there's been constant live performances right in front of where we work, because basically I work on a harbour, and there's like a stage in front of us on the harbour, and they've had constant bands and acts go on there. And so trying to listen to Donda was practically impossible. I just couldn't hear like the beats properly. But I was able to where I was like positioned at work, I was next to the speaker, so I could sort of hear it. But then like the music on the stage was just drowning it out so much. Like, I didn't mind the music on the stage, the bands were good, but I wanted to listen to Kanye, So yeah, I had to wait until I got home basically to really delve into the album and really listen to the album. But I don't think I did actually, because I was so tired, just because we worked so long. It was like an 11-hour shift or something, or 12, I don't know, something insane. So yeah, I think the next day at work though, I was really able to listen to it. Like me and my mate at work, we were just so pumped by the album. Like, we were the only two that were really excited for this album, and I just realised I looked really yellow. Why is it so why are the colours just so hold on, let me change it back real quick. My god. Is that better? Alright, apologies about that. I think because when I'm filming the sun's going down now, so it's changing the white balance. Anyways, yeah, we were really listening to the album, and we were just so hyped throughout the entire thing. We were smiling, the tunes were so infectious. As a whole, I think the album is so much better than what I thought it was going to be. Honestly, my expectations were met, and they went beyond really the expectations. The album is that good for the length that it is, and for how little I didn't like. It's impressive, really impressive how Kanye and his team put that all together. It was a risk to do an album of that length, and for it to to be as consistent. Well, consistent. Some may argue about consistency on the album, but I really like the 2-act structure has been separated at the Heaven and Hell and Donda part. Where there's a very big tonal shift. Where at the Donda part it goes into more of a Jesus is King sort of aesthetic and vibe, like the Christian route which you would expect Kanye to take in recent years. I mean, he's always talked about religion, but more so emphasising his music in recent years, as seen with Jesus is King, evidently. But yeah, I enjoy every moment of it, even the songs which I find a bit weaker. There's still aspects and parts which I can find enjoyment out of it, and that's impressive. So I right now would consider this in the A tier category for a Kanye album. Is up there with Life of Pablo, it's up there with Ye, it's up there with Yeezus, it's up there with Kids See Ghosts. It is definitely top 5 for me, easily top 5. It could even break top 3, it really could. Because what I really look for in an album is consistency in how many tracks I'd like, because with Ye, I love all of it, and there's no skips for me at all. And with Donda, with how large it is, there are hardly any skips, and I am counting all the part 2s in the full album. They are technically bonus tracks, but I like to include them as a whole. So yeah, I'm so impressed. I'm so happy with how it turned out. But I've been seeing a lot of people make comments on Instagram and TikTok saying how it's mid, how it's not that great, and I mean, I would like to see where they're coming from, because that's what everyone says, it's mid and it's not that great, but no one actually expands on why it's not that good. No one's explaining why it isn't good, so I'm kind of struggling to see where people are coming from on the side where it's not that good, or they're disappointed. No one's expanding on it, so I don't know if it's a bandwagon thing to hate on Donda and Kanye, because it is quite a common thing to hate on Kanye, I've noticed, but I'm not sure if it's because of that, or if it is actually mid, and I'm just blinded by my love for Kanye. I don't know. But I don't know. I guess I just feel bad because people can't enjoy the album, which Donda is. Really, I see Donda as a mix of The Life of Pablo and 808s. If you have the album structure synthesizers, they come back quite heavily in this album. So it's like a grand mixture of these two together, and you also like have like snippets and cuts of Jesus is King, Jesus, Kids See Ghosts even. And I really do think I don't know, this album just shows Kanye and who he really is right now. I don't know, I just think it's such a grand arena type piece, really. It has that arena feel. I don't know if it's because of all these listening parties that it's given that off that arena vibe, but it feels like a grand experience. And you may think an experience is stupid, but it has been an absolute adventure with this like album drop. It has been an experience and a half for a Kanye fan. It really has been, and so it's been so enjoyable seeing like the leaks, the snippets and whatnot. It has been such a great journey. And so I want to get into my top 5 tracks, but first I'll give some honourable mentions. Let me just get up my notes real quick. So these aren't in order, these are just some honourable mentions. So I have Donda as an honourable mention. Just, I don't know, it really does set the mood and feel for like the act 2 of the album. And I don't know, I really do like all the Donda snippets when she's talking, and like the music, it gives off, it's so good. Hurricane, of course, The Weeknd sounds angelic on it. I love Kanye on it as well, and you have Lil Baby's brilliant on it as well. There is an odd mix and choice for the choir on The Weeknd's bit, and I think on a couple of other odd mix and choices throughout Hurricane, but apart from that, absolute banger. Jail, of course. Let's talk about part 1 first. Jail of Jay-Z is an instant classic, I think, an instant hit of people. It's like #1 across everywhere right now. It is so good. I've heard people complain about the drums at the end not being that throughout the entire piece. But yeah, I don't mind it. I enjoy it without the drums. Drums aren't always needed, and that's apparent through Jail. I also have New Again. Now the intro to New Again is probably my favourite intro to any song. If you haven't heard it, it starts off with if I hit you up with a WID, don't hit me up with a HUI. I want to hear hi with a bunch of I's and hey with a bunch of Y's, and every time I hear it I can't help but smile to myself. And it's really infectious. It was stuck in my head all day yesterday, just that one bit. Kind of like, with a bunch of I's and hey, with a bunch of Y's. It's so good. And the beat on You Again is, I don't know, it's very groovy. It's kind of groovy beat. Really like it. I forgot about talk about Jail Part 2. I like Jail Part 2. Don't shoot me down. Don't shoot me down. I like Jail Part 2. I like Marilyn Manson on it. He adds this sort of grunginess to it. And then you have Da Baby's verse. He pops off, he goes off. I can't complain. If you like one or the other, you have both, I don't think there's anything to lose here. It's a win-win all around. It's a win-win. And then you have Junior, Part 1 and Part 2. I've heard a lot. I understand it's not like, the greatest piece of music there is, but there's something that I find so infectious. I do quite like some hype tunes, and there's a lot of ease and yeah in it, and I'm a sucker for like ad-lib sort of tracks. So I really do enjoy Junior, and I think I enjoy it more so than the typical Kanye listener. Like, I was gonna have it in my top 5. Like, if anything else was gonna be in the top 5, it would be Junior, Part 1 and Part 2. I can't decide which one I like more. They're both like good. So my top 5 isn't really in any particular order, just because I can't order them. Also, for honourable mentions, I could have had honourable mentions for the honourable mentions. Like, I could have had Praise God. I could have had No Child Left Behind. I could have had I do want to talk about later on. You may be surprised. I'm not going to mention it in the top 5. So, 5th, again, no particular order really. We have Off the Grid. Off the Grid has one of Kanye's best verses, if not the best. It's definitely one of my favourites of this album. Because Off the Grid is a drill type beat song, something that Kanye hasn't really attempted before, and the way Kanye flows effortlessly of it is insane. He sounds so good with drill. I'm not a drill lover, I'm not, but Off the Grid is an absolute classic hit, and I think a lot of people really do like Kanye's verse and how he flows and how he just bounces back off it, and he just creates this sort of like energetic feel. It's so good. And like everyone else who contributed to the song popped off as well, and the beat, the production, it's all good. So infectious. Up next we have 24. This is gospel done right. I think this is what people wanted Jesus as the King to be like. It takes gospel and makes it like, I don't know how to explain it. See, this is why I'm not reviewing the album, because I'm not good at reviewing. I just don't know how to explain it. It's just pleasant to the ears. It's such a nice listen, and it kind of gets you pumped up as well. Like, I remember walking Gatsby, then I got home and 24 was playing it, and I was just beltering like the tune. Like, is it the one that says God? 24 is the one that's like, God's not finished. God's not finished. Like, oh yeah, me and my mate were saying how we're not Christian, but 24 has our hands raised into the air. Just like, it's so good. Like, I ain't Christian, but I'm praising God to 24. Like, I really am. Up next we have Moon. Moon is such a beautiful song. Donda sets off the track, sets off the tone with his angelic auto-tune. It is auto-tuned, I think. Yeah, it would make sense. And then you hear a slight sort of hum from Kid Cudi, and you know you're going to be sent off, you know you're going to ascend. And then there's like towards the end you have Don Toliver, Kid Cudi and Kanye all like harmonising together, with each one coming in after the other, like going back and forth, and it's one of, if not the most beautiful moments on the album, just throwing all three of them just bounce off one another. It is, yeah, something to hear, it really is. And I know people were worried that Kid Cudi was taken off because he wasn't featured in the third listening party as well as Jay-Z, so I think that was one of the complaints as well. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention Remote Control could easily be like an honorable mention as well. And the next two songs I'm going to mention are easily some of my favourite tracks of all time. Like, actually, any track that I've actually talked about could be any of my favourite tracks of all time from Kanye. Up next we have Heaven and Hell. My God, this track goes hard. It really, really does. It's not something I expected. It's like this sort of rock infused Christian rap hip hop. It's crazy. It really is. It's like the first half is Heaven sort of beat, I guess you can say. It's quite minimalist, not much going on. Kanye's actually kind of, he's got a good flow coming on, and then you get to the second part of the track, which is like the hell part, and it just breaks down to this eruption of like production, and Kanye's, it goes back to his Kidsy Ghost era, and he goes rap, 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 rap. It feels like it could be a song off of Kidsy Ghosts. It's that like energetic and has that vibe. It's so fun to listen to. And then finally we have Believe What I Say. What an absolute fun track Believe What I Say is. It reminds me, I think I like it so much because it reminds me of Paranoid from 808s. It's a song that really does stick out because it just has such a different vibe and feel. Like Paranoid, it has this upbeat, infectious, poppy style, and if you don't know what 808s is like, it's it's a sad album. It's like it's a breakup album. And so you have all like these mellow sounds, and you get to Paranoid, and it's like a party pop beat. And believe what I say, kind of has the same vibes, but it's more of a funk bounce sort of beat. It's doom 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 doom. I'm not doing it justice there, like no justice at all. But it is so infectious. I've said infectious a lot. I'm probably using that completely wrong, but it's just such a fun listen. So yeah, there's my top 5, and I haven't mentioned Jesus Lord. I think I miss it. I've heard a lot of people say it's their favourite. I think I'm missing something. I don't know, because it reminds me of Wilshire, of Tyler's latest album, and Wilshire is my least favourite track, just because I'm not a big fan of these storytelling songs. It's just not my sort of style, because I find the beats too repetitive to listen to for that long amount of time. I wish I could enjoy it. I wish I did enjoy these more storytelling type songs, but I can't. And I'm actually kind of upset I can't enjoy Jesus Lord as much as other people. Like, I still listen to it. It's not like I don't dislike the song. I do like the song, but not as much as other people, basically. But I wish I did. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Donda. It's been an absolute journey, and I'm so happy it's finally arrived. It really is one of my favourite albums to date. It really is. And then we've got to see what Drake's is like. I'm not a fan of Drake, but I'm still going to listen to it, you know. And we've got Little Sims on Friday, and we've got Darkworth on Friday. So 2021 really is a win for music, and we've got Kendrick releasing this year, so who knows who's going to get album of the year. I tell you what, the Grammy's going to pull some BS and give it to like Doja Cat. Like, I'm calling it. Doja Cat's going to get album of the year for no reason. So yeah, that's just like my ramble for this week, talking about Donda. I could probably do more Donda type videos if you guys like me to. I could like properly rank every track on the album, because every top 5 I've seen is completely different to one another, and I think that's why Donda is as good as it is, because it has something for everyone, and if everyone has a different top 5, it just must mean every track has its own strengths and uniques to it. So you can't go wrong with Donda. If you haven't listened to Donda, go listen to Donda. Donda. So yeah. Also, I've been hearing around that Donda Chan is like Donda's heartbeat. I think that's made up. I don't think that's true. Anyways, I'll leave it there. This video's gone off quite a while now. So thank you very much, guys, for watching, and I'll see you in the